A Rush County man is under arrest for murder after police found human remains during their search for a missing teen. They've been looking for Valerie Tindall.
No one's seen the 17-year-old since June. Our Emily Longnecker spent the day in Rush County talking with police, and in just the last 2 hours, Valerie's parents as well.
So tonight, she shares what we've learned about the investigation and the emotional response from the teenager's family.
Well, investigators here in Rush County say they discovered human remains on a property belonging to a man who was the boss and neighbor of missing 17-year-old Valerie Tindall. And while those remains have not been positively identified as belonging to Tindall, and police stopped short of saying they actually belong to her, they also offered sympathy today to her parents.
This is not the outcome we had all hoped for.
Those words delivered to the media today by Rush County Sheriff Alan Rice, with two people looking on. Two people who feel that way more than anyone. Valerie Tindall's parents.
I'm devastated. My daughter didn't deserve this. And we just want answers right now.
Tindall's family and investigators have searched for those answers for nearly 6 months since she disappeared on June 7th. The 17-year-old was reportedly last seen with her boss and neighbor, 58-year-old Patrick Scott, who investigators say was a person of interest early on in Tindall's disappearance. Court records show in late June, Scott was charged with lying to police about seeing Tindall the day she disappeared.
His story kept changing, that he went from not seeing her from the day before to he had seen her that day to she had actually worked.
Tindall's family says she worked for Scott's landscaping business, and the families were not only neighbors but friends.
Her and him had a bond like they were friends.
Tuesday, investigators arrested Scott on a preliminary charge of murder after finding human remains on his property, just hundreds of feet from the Tindall home.
I don't know how somebody could do anything like this. The man's a monster.
So far, police aren't saying the remains are Tindall's, but these parents know in their heart they likely belong to their daughter.
I can't see it being anybody else.
Coming up tonight at 6, we'll tell you why investigators say that this investigation, this case, is far from over. We'll also have a detail from Tindall's parents about how they say Scott was monitoring her phone even before she disappeared. In Rush County, Emily Longnecker, 13 News.
Emily, thank you. Gosh, you feel for those parents. This has been a long investigation, nearly 6 months, brought together local, state, and federal partners, including the FBI and the U.S. Marshals Service. Rush County Sheriff Alan Rice said so far, 50 search warrants have been served in this case.
Where are you at right now? This has got to be unbelievable for your family.
Absolutely. I'm devastated. My daughter didn't deserve this. And we just want answers right now. We just want answers as to why. Why would you do this? Because her and him had a bond like they were friends. And
So we thought.
Yeah.
She worked for him, right? They did.
She worked for him,
she did.
but she also hung out with his family, like his granddaughter was her friend, and we went places with them, me and him, and her and him, and family, like everybody went together.
For a long time, you guys
Yeah.
were family friends?
Yeah.
In the last 5 months, had you talked to him about her at all, or did you see them at all?
No, he ran in his house every time I tried to talk to him.
Well, at first, actually the first week or so, I think it was the first week, right after we hung flyers, I think it was day 2, we went out and hung flyers, and as soon as we come home, they were there, and they kept coming over, you know, asking me if I was okay, and telling us, oh, I'm sure she's fine, she'll be back home. I left at 17, that's what his wife kept telling me, I left at 17, and I said, yeah, but that was different. You left and got married, your mom knew where you were, you didn't just vanish.
Did you know in your mother's heart this is not her running away, that this is something is my child?
I hoped, so I hung on to that. I wanted to believe that she did, but I didn't.
I was reading on Facebook some commentary that you folks had made about you were concerned at one point, though, that he had a tracker on her phone. Was that part of work?
She come home and told me that. She said something about he had placed her on his 360 plan. I didn't even know what that was. And she explained it to me, and I was like, why? Like, why are you on that? She said, I don't know, he just added me on it with his family because they're all on it. And I said, well, but you're not his kids or his wife or anything. He has no reason to even be tracking them as far as I'm concerned. I wouldn't track my family. It's not normal to me.
And did he used to call and say, hey, she's here, Dad, or she's...
Yeah, she's like, go visit boys. She didn't know on the internet.
She was bad
And
about
I
that.
tried to get her to stop doing that because it's dangerous. And it didn't work. Come to find out it was the boss, not the boys.
Did he ever help search for her?
No.
No.
No, all they did was come to our yard and talk to us for hours to they're talking to us.
His wife did admit that she drove around Shelbyville
Yeah, she drove around looking.
and looking for her. But
And she offered to print out flyer.
the next day we found out
maps.
that they had something to do with it.
And is it true that you, at one time, after Valerie disappeared, you saw him taking down his shed in the middle of the night?
I did not. My son-in-law and my daughter witnessed him doing that at 2 a.m.
And the neighbors.
I had somebody else verify it was 2 a.m. and I said, how do you know that? And she said, I video recorded it.
And is it also true that somebody, a family friend, heard him say to her, hey, we're going to meet for lunch, or we're going to go for lunch on that day?
That was a girl who lived at the apartments that he worked at. They were there working that Wednesday, which he didn't work on Wednesdays. When I come home from work, I said, she doesn't work Wednesdays, and he said, yeah, I know. So we just kind of assumed she told a little white lie and went to see a friend or a boy or something like that, like teenage kids do. Well, later I called him because she was supposedly at work, and he says, no, she didn't work. Well, later we find out from multiple people that, that's not the case. His story kept changing, that he went from not seeing her from the day before to he had seen her that day to she had actually worked. And I found that out from the girl that worked at the apartment. Her mother actually reached out to me. She's 20 years old, and she had 2 kids, and she told her mom, apparently confided in her mom, because I'm sure she didn't know what to do as a 20-year-old kid. So after her mom had given me the information, I went and immediately emailed Smallwood, which was the lead detective, and let him know. Of course, it's the holidays, so he wasn't in.
To know that she was found practically in your own backyard, I mean,
It's devastating.
Do you know how hard
Mind-blowing.
that was for me?
Yeah, mind-blowing.
I wanted to go over there so bad.
So much. Every day.
How are you still standing up?
I do not know.
It ain't easy. I've been up all night crying, went to the hospital crying.
Is she your oldest? Or
No, she's my middle child.
how would you describe her?
So sweet and smart,
Funny,
honey.
very intelligent.
I saw something, you said she was getting her grades up. She
She
great
went from
college.
failing to getting A's and B's. I was so proud of her, but I never got to tell her
She
that.
even got a couple acceptance letters from college.
She was applying to college. Do you know what she wanted to do? What she
Veterinarian.
wanted to be a vet?
Yeah, she loved animals.
And her schoolwork in her folder proved that. She had all kinds of paperwork filled out from schooling where she was studying animals.
Was it hard to hear? I mean, the authorities are standing up here and they're offering their sympathies, and yet they can't say. And I mean,
I understand on their behalf, I really do. They have guidelines just like we do when we go to work. If I go to work and I don't put on my safety glasses, I get written up, stuff like that. They have the same things to follow, so I try to be understanding of that. Yes, as a mother, I would have wanted answers within the first week, but logically, it's not possible.
But in your parents' heart that this is Valerie. Do you believe it?
I can't see it being anybody else. It just,
When she
like I said,
disappeared,
she would have reached
There
out.
was no media. Her
Nothing.
car was parked at his work, and she's not a very quiet person. She loves the dog, she loves social media. She loved that car.
TikTok. She loved TikTok. She loved to do those with her sisters all the time. The fact that she hadn't reached out to her best friend or her sisters or anybody, that just told me that something was definitely wrong. She didn't run away. I didn't believe that for 1 minute really in my heart, but I wanted to, so.
It's been 6 months probably of not sleeping for you guys, heart probably not eating
It got
well.
worse the farther it went into it, especially after her 18th birthday.
Can't even keep a
Right off
track
the
of
bat, she
thought.
missed her sister's graduation. And she knew that was going to happen. I thought, well, I can't see Valerie doing that. And then her 18th birthday rolled around. We thought for sure she'd be home when she turns 18. No, and it just took everything down.
When was her birthday?
August 29th.
And she was going to be a senior this year.
Yep.
She was
Her last year of school.
at where, Rushville? Or
Then I got even more upset because there was no reason to hide.
No.
You know,
We kept saying, like, if she's out there and she ran away, why don't she come home or at least, like, call her sister?
It wasn't
Ted,
that she
something.
wouldn't do something. I mean,
No.
that wouldn't be like her.
No.
Yeah. And so now the move turns towards, I guess, justice. I mean, right, there's
Absolutely.
people talk about closure and tragedy, but
There is
really-
none.
Yeah.
There's going to be a hole there forever. There was a hole there when we thought she was out there somewhere. There was a hole and it's never going to be filled. Just like half your family's gone.
Anything else that you guys want to say? Dad?
I don't know how somebody could do anything like this. The man's a monster, and his wife needs to be prosecuted with her.
Absolutely.
She knew everything about it too, I'm sure.
His son, he was told to go clean his car when he turned himself in the first time. So, I honestly believe his whole family knew.
When he was charged with false informing or not giving the right story, did you guys say to yourself, and then especially like, wait, why is he not saying? Why is his story
Then the
changing?
bells started going off, yeah.
Even before then, there
Definitely.
was just a lot of things just started popping up. Like she would, like I said, multiple times tell me, I was 17 when I left. I was like, why does she keep saying that? And she had to point out the fact that Pat was coming home. As Valerie was leaving, they must have crossed paths. I'm like, why tell me that? Like, there was a lot of things just didn't add up to me.
Just, you can tell she's hiding for him.
So will you guys be in court every time that he's
Absolutely.
there, that kind of thing?
We can, yeah.
Yeah.
We're so sorry.
Thank you.
We're so sorry.
It always is hard to understand why a human being would do this to another human being. And it's just, I'm always at a loss for words how somebody could take somebody's life. And in this case, we want to give our condolences to, of course, the Tindall family that lost their daughter and the grief that they must be going through at this time. To know that, of course, Valerie's body was found at their next door neighbor, Patrick Scott's home. So please leave something nice in the comments section of this video to give your condolences. Please like and share and perhaps subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Our hearts go out to this family.